Hey folks, Colton and Travis here with another trend trade to go over with you. This trade happened this morning. After this sell off, we had found support down here and we had a candle that made a nice strong close over the 21 moving average here, the black line. One distinction to point out, this was not a pocket trade because once we broke and closed above the 21, there was no hesitation. On a pocket trade, typically you'll see 2, 3, 4 minutes of hesitation and either wicking or coming back to the 21 to support it. That did not happen. It went ahead and ripped upwards and formed this nice, strong, defined trend. Then the trend breaks here, as you can see. And when a trend breaks, typical market structure is after one or two pullbacks, you will see the extreme point of that trend be retested, in this case, this high. So once the pullback occurred, we actually had two pullbacks. There's one pullback, tried to go higher, pulled back again. But you can see, especially on the 2 minute chart down here, that the 21 moving average on the 2 minute was coinciding with the support level. And 21 moving averages oftentimes are great support indices. So you can see this trade envelope we have drawn here. Awesome risk to reward. If you got in somewhere in this area, you have a 1 point stop, and then you have a 5.5, 6 point reward back up to the top. Anything you want to add on that, Colton?
I will mention, as a general rule, we like to enter as close to, if not on the 21, because a lot of the time, as you can see, the 8 and 21 move with the trend. So if you can enter on or very close to the 21, that creates a great level for you to decide your stop.
Yes,
You can, a lot of the time, you can get away with a very small stop and have a great risk to reward.
that is true. Also, can you talk about how you interpret candle behavior at the 21? So, for example, I know you're looking for price action to come back to the 21 and test it and then decide whether or not you want to get in. Whereas some people will just place an order at the 21, anticipating what might happen, hoping it's going to go long, in which case oftentimes you can get blown out. But you'll wait for it to come back and test. So specific to this 3, 4, 5 candle setup, how do you view that right there? Does that make sense?
Yeah, for a lot of the time, I like to, as you mentioned, I like to see it test the 21, and then I'll wait and make sure we're going to hold the 21 for an entry. Uh, the reason for that is because it lowers your risk quite a lot. I can show you an example if you, Travis, if you want to go back to where we had that major drop this morning, the top.
1 minute chart?
Uh, yep, right there, as you can see at 10:02. If
Eastern?
you just had an order sitting, yes,
Okay,
if you
right
just
here.
had an order sitting there on the 21, it would have blew straight through it and never stopped. I mean, you would have lost 30 points on that trade. So to lower your risk, you wait for a candle close and maybe a wick. And if it wicks back above the 21, that's even better. I prefer to see that because it shows that that 21 is very strong in that area. Uh, but that's the main reason, just to lower my risk. Sometimes you miss a point or maybe even as little as a quarter of a point, but I think it's worth it because in the long run you'll save more than that.
So as that pertains to this particular setup, let's say we don't know this is happening, right? This candle comes down. It's the first time it touches it. You're waiting. You're not in yet. All right.
Nope.
The candle opens here, wicks down, closes here. Next candle is unfolding. What are you thinking with this candle? The second
So at
white.
the next candle, I'm starting to see we're holding the 21 and we bounced, but we did have that wick at the top. Okay, so then we move on to the next candle, and it held the 21 3 candles in a row at this point. So that would be my entry. And then at that point, I would put the stop right below the 21, a close right below the
A
21.
strong close, correct? Not a little
Yeah,
tiny close like this one.
correct. So the stop would have had to have been a strong close right below those wicks, which is, I mean, within a point and a quarter of the 21.
And when you say a strong close, I mean, is it a quarter point? Is it a half point? Is it somewhat subjective?
Yeah, it's somewhat subjective because it depends. Maybe we like for this example, we have a 1 point wick, below the 21. Maybe there's on these candles we're wicking like 2 or 3 points below the 21. A strong close inside that wick would get me out of that trade as well.
So this wick is a key indicator for you in trying to decide where a strong close is.
Yeah, exactly. A strong close inside that wick wouldn't bother me because that wick is so close to the 21. But if that wick was maybe 3 points and we had a strong close down inside that wick, that would indicate a good reason for me to get out.
Okay. One thing I want to point out too, you see this level I had drawn on here because we had wicked this area and bounced it slowly but somewhat significantly here earlier, right? And then again right there, and then it became a point of rejection here and here. So fair to say that's a key level in this window of time, right?
Yes, it is.
In which case
And
you
as you
you
can,
could have said that could be a stop out level too, right? A close below there.
yeah, and that level you have drawn on your chart right there. Like you said, that was support and it was resistance. So we touched it 2 times. So that is a
Yeah.
good point.
So and even then you have a 2.25 point stop to basically a 6 point reward. So still a good ratio if you had chosen that as a stop level.
Yeah, for sure. That's great.
Okay. Sounds good.